Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage our Master of Ceremony for the awards, Ernst Ostra.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great that we see you in so big numbers still turning out for this super important awards. The awards are based on votes of the clients, of the people in the industry. So this is why it's so important. It's not your mother, it's not your brothers, it's not your colleagues who vote for you, but those are the people that really matter, your clients. Before we go there, a couple of housekeeping rules. We have buses still departing from here up to 5 or even later back to the airport. So you can stay relaxed, stay in the room. After this session, we do another session with the closing panel. Super nice, very nice, high quality panel closing off the conference. Before I announce one of our guest speakers to the stage, I would like you to join me in thanking the Deliver team for an outstanding job bringing all these people together from all over the world. Stefan and team, you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And this is not because I'm part of the community, but I've spoken to many of you. I've spoken to people here who are for the third time, who are creating new business, creating new ideas, bringing new energy in their teams, from one person bringing 5 or 6 persons to the same conference. And I think that exemplifies how successful this process is. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Managing Director for Startup Bootcamp, meaning that innovation is in the heart of everything I do. Next to that, I'm entrepreneur in residence at INSEAD Business School and working with the brightest of the brightest on their entrepreneurship journey. The key to innovation is to bring communities together. Be open, be transparent, sharing your ideas. And this, I think, is super exemplified by the setup that Stefan has created a few years ago with this session. I will do a few words before we go into the ceremony, but first I would like to call to the stage the president of the Portuguese E-commerce Association, and he's also a board member of the E-com Logistics Group of E-commerce Europe. Please welcome to the stage Alexandra Fonseca.
Well, good afternoon. Let me start by saying that it's really a pleasure to represent e-commerce Europe, and especially being chairman of the logistics committee. It's really an honor for us to have you all here in Portugal. Also, as president of the Portuguese E-commerce Association, we're really glad that we were chosen to host the event this year, and I would like to thank to Delivery for choosing us and choosing Portugal to be hosting the event here in our city, in our country. The Portuguese E-commerce Association exists since the year 2000, almost 20 years now, and it's slightly different from other associations in Europe because we not only have retailers, but we also have the value chain of e-commerce, so payments, logistics, marketplaces, but also advertising, a digital advertising agency, organization that help develop the digital economy in our country. Additionally to that, I would like to say that our association is proudly the representative and the organization that develops the .pt, the top-level domain of the country. And we also having partnerships with other e-commerce associations like the German association, the French, the Chinese, and also the Brazilian, with whom we've been developing a lot of relationships and events in the past years. Additionally to that, we are the organization that in Portugal develops and promotes the trust mark, the quality trust mark in e-commerce websites. So that's an important part also of our activity. And we do that for e-commerce, but also, for instance, to give an example of public administration websites. For instance, the National Healthcare public website as our trust mark. Additionally, I would like to give you some figures of Portugal. You might know or not know our market, so I wanted to give you briefly some figures. We have 75% of internet users in our country, and 37% of the Portuguese population buys online. So roughly half of the people that uses the internet. Last year, consumers in Portugal bought something like 4.6 billion euros in goods and services. The majority of that was cross-border. Portugal is one of the countries that buys more cross-border than the majority of the countries, and that's also an opportunity for other players to try to get the attention of the Portuguese consumers. But probably the most interesting thing that I have to tell you about Portugal is regarding what we call B2G, so business to government. Since 2009, it's mandatory in Portugal that all public administration, all the goods bought by the government, public services, have to be done through digital platforms. So because it's mandatory, this has been growing a lot since 2009. And last year, for you to have an idea, B2G, so business to government, and also B2B, representing something like 70 billion euros being sold by Portuguese company to the government and also to other companies. So this is a very important part. Portugal has been developing a lot of public digital services. If you look at the DESI, the Digital Economy and Society Index, the European Index of Europe, you will see that Portugal, for instance, is very high ranked in the offering of public digital services. This is something that we've been investing a lot in the past 10 years. I also wanted to share with you a couple of initiatives that we're doing to promote e-commerce in Portugal. We've launched an initiative called Digital North. The northern part of the country is where you have the majority of industry and production. And we developed an initiative to help those companies that produce shoes, produce any kinds of goods, products and services, to help them be more international and export more through e-commerce. So we developed an initiative where, for instance, we invited these companies to go through a program, a consultancy program, where we chose 50 of them to help them through a process of 6 months to help them develop this e-commerce operation. To give you an example, so we were able to give them information regarding the top global countries in the world, so they don't know to whom they should market. We developed a study that helped them choose the best marketplaces to whom they could sell. We developed a self-assessment tool so they can understand what level of digital they have, and help them through a process of consultancy that started roughly 3 months ago, so it's now more or less in the middle. And this is, for instance, this is a picture of all the companies that we're helping through this initiative. So we're doing consultancy to these companies to bring them to a higher level of development in terms of e-commerce. We're also doing an initiative called Digital Commerce. It's dedicated to small merchants in smaller towns, so this is dedicated to the small flower shop, the coffee shop, the restaurant, so any kind of street commerce that want to be online. We have a big target we're going to support through this initiative. We want to bring online more than 50,000 companies in the next 2 years. We have a roadshow, we're covering 150 cities, and we offer them training, we offer them the first website, support to create, for instance, a social media page, also teach them how to do some advertising, etc. So this is part of the initiatives that we do. We also trained the top 100 associations in the country, Merchants Association, and helped them bring online their members. So this is the website of Comércio Digital. The most important initiative of ACEP, our association, is the Portugal Digital Week, to whom we already want to invite you to come. It's going to be in October, usually very nice weather in Portugal, so it's a good opportunity to come back in a different setting, focus more on our country and our economy. So it's usually what we do is we provide the latest figures about the country, so we present our annual study. We also do a roadshow in universities, but probably the most important initiative is the Portugal Digital Summit. It's a 2-day conference. We have 4 stages. Usually we have something like 150 speakers. 5,000 people attend this event, and we cover a lot of topics typically dedicated to digital transformation, so the change of processes, of people, teams, setting up digital teams, so more strategic setting, but also focus on industry, several industries, but also tech talks. So it's a good opportunity to know a little bit more about Portugal. The other thing that we organize is an e-commerce roundtable and also the award ceremony that we have every year in our own Black Friday, the Portuguese Black Friday, which is usually 1 month prior to the global Black Friday. So this is to give you a little bit of the flavor of our conference. As I said, 4 stages. We are planning to have 5,000 attendees, 4 stages, and also more than 150, around 150 speakers, coming especially from our invited country, which is going to be Germany this year. So usually we have an invited country, which is going to bring also speakers, and it's an opportunity to cooperate with other countries. So to finalize my presentation, I want to briefly cover some of the advantage of investing in Portugal. We're also a very friendly startup nation. We have a very high-level infrastructure in terms of telecommunication, fiber, and also mobile. We have a very international culture in our country. We have a very interesting strategic positioning connecting Africa with Latin America and Europe. So it might be interesting if your company wants to go also to the regions. We can be the bridge for those continents. And we think that we are able to provide very highly trained digital professionals to your organization if you want to invest in Portugal. So my final 34 seconds, it's to show you this map and remind you that you have the opportunity to visit Lisbon. Also go to Nazaré and see some of the biggest waves in the world. And also have the chance to know a little bit of a story of Portugal, not only Lisbon, but also other cities in the country. Or maybe, who knows, maybe have a nice dip in the water and see our fabulous beaches in the world. As you know, Portugal was considered a lot of times recently the most revered destination in the world. So once again, thank you so much for having us here at the stage. Thank you for coming to Portugal, and I invite you to come to Lisbon in October. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. And I've taken the opportunity to spend a few more days here in Lisbon, so count me in for your nice introduction. Having said that, it's also imperative that we work with the local associations, and we do that in each of the countries. So, and also, maybe there will be a next year. I think there will be. And you want to know where that is? I will tell you after the awards ceremony. So, bit of a cliffhanger. Let's rewind a little bit what we have learned, what we have seen, right? First of all, I would like to thank you all individually to come out here, to be one of those people that are making time out of your day-to-day schedules to be here, to learn from each other, to connect, to innovate together. I know how hard it is to make really time for these type of things if you have the daily struggle. And you can only do that with conferences that really matter, and I think we've proven that we can do so. For instance, yesterday we started with the panel with top-end consulting firms. We started from what is most important, the end customer. What is driving them? We learned from PwC about the return on experience, that you can only do that by really understanding the behavior of those individual clients. From those individual clients, you learn that they need a faster delivery, that they need to have smoother experience, better transaction management, all those type of elements that we've captured in there. And as a result, you need AI, you need robots, you need better digitization of your daily service. The beauty of this conference is as well that we're moving from larger brands, larger retailers, to fast-moving, innovative type of strategies. That will continue to be the case. But moving from retail to direct-to-consumer is difficult for everyone. Whether you're IKEA, Unilever, Nestlé, many of you I spoke to over the past few days, or you're one of those fast-moving marketplaces, you're all challenging the same clients. And for the established brands, it's even harder. But it was great to see in the workshops that I was happy to moderate together with John, Darko, and Damien, that we could see that that energy was really shared, that the people were really sharing that information. We also learned from Capgemini and Accenture on terms of, what the key imperatives are for the logistics sector. What is facing us? Yes, it has to be faster. Yes, it has to be more transparent. Yes, it has to be probably cheaper as well. But this is also one of the first conferences that price was probably not immediately on everybody's top of mind. And I think because that we start from the e-commerce, from the end customer. Yesterday, obviously, we learned from Alibaba in the introduction, but we also learned from Stuart Maguire in his introduction about robotization. And the session was about AI, and I think Stuart also said it nicely. Actually, this is not really about AI. This is a lot about common sense or evolving. And I would call that business model transformation. Using that technology to move beyond the next levels, to be future-proof with your businesses and your company. We also, for instance, with the gray-orange, I liked that very much. It was really about robotization, but it's also about sort of co-creation. So in one of my workshops, we talked about co-robotization. So being hand in hand with the robots, what they already can do. You define the algorithms to what the human intervention allows you to. And those type of elements, we have to be aware that what is technically possible is not always adapted by the people that have to work with it. And I thought it was really nice exemplified by this. And one of the examples that I talked to later with gray-orange was, if you know that everybody has to have an overnight delivery, you have to make sure that you have a night shift. And at night shift, it's very hard to find the people. But what if you don't need 100 people, but the robotization allows you to work in the same productivity with 10, or maybe even in the future with 2 or 3? And those are the key examples that really make us helping, shaping, and reshaping the industry. We also talked this morning further about disruption and the activities and the innovation, what is needed. And one of the speakers also used the term MVP, minimum viable product. And it's one of the key success factors that many of the runners-up or the disruptors in this industry are showing. Let's start small. Let's test it with a small group of clients before we move to large investments, really move to scalability before we move with big investors moving forward. And I think that brings it back to the key element why we're all here. Yes, we want to create that disruption. Yes, we want to be part of that community. And we call this conference Deliver. And that also implies a call to action. It's about this disruption, but it's also about this connectivity. We learned a lot from each other. At least I learned a lot from all the people that I spoke to and the people that I've been honored to moderate the sessions for. It's about the connections. And definitely, I'm happy to announce that there will be a new Deliver next year. And people already feel that as a reunion type of thing, right? Hey, we're here together. We have this one thing scheduled in our agenda. Probably in the June timeframe. So we'll announce that a little bit later. So it's all about connectivity. It's all about yourself also playing with these bigger themes. One of the themes that came across very clearly is also sustainability. Is that the trade-off versus cost? Nowadays, you see it more and more. Sustainability is almost a hygiene factor. In one of the sessions, we also learned in the workshops that it is also about, if you want to be sustainable, yeah, there's also a collective call to action. So always, I would call on you as leaders in the area that you're in to take action also on that part of sustainability. We're all leaders in the domain that we're operating, but we're also the change leaders on behalf of our customers, and behalf of our suppliers, and on behalf of the industry. This brings me to the next part of our process, which is the awards ceremony. Are you ready for the awards? Yeah? All right, so can I call on stage Alex Fonseca to help me? And obviously, our great leader, Stefan Tomczak. I don't see the slides here. Luckily, I didn't press the button too far. I don't see it on my monitor, guys. But so, the first category is the Game Changing Award. This reward, as you can read, and I cannot, rewards the company who has the potential to disrupt the industry. I will call 2 names that didn't win the award, so don't get into stage yet, who are the runners-up. We have more than 300 retailers voting for this, so that's a massive turnout. It's the best we ever had. The 2 runners-up were DS Smith and Geek Plus. Well done. And the winner of the 2019 Deliver Game Changer Award is AUTOSTORE. Thank you. Congratulations. Whoa.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Picture?
Thank you. Thank you is the only word that brings to mind. AUTOSTORE is the inventor of the cube storage. AUTOSTORE have been disrupting the industry already for more than 2 decades, and we are very ready to disrupt the next decades and centuries to come. So thank you very much, retailers. Thank you very much for hosting a fantastic conference. And thank you very much for the team and everybody who voted for us. This is really a great day for us. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Don't go too far, guys. We do a picture. AUTOSTORE. Don't go too far. We do a group picture after this. Okay? Yeah? Otherwise, we have logistics problems, and this is one we can solve, I guess. Next category is about sustainability. This rewards a company with real sustainable achievement. We all know how hard it is, because you have to defy some of the odds. You have to make sure that you gravitate into something new when you want to be more sustainable. Interesting enough, if you look at the company that won this, and I will get back to that later, let's do the runners-up first. We have 2 runners-up on this one, DPDgroup and Urb-It. Well done. The winner of this category is a company that really displayed today and yesterday at their stand that they are a sustainable company. Please welcome to the stage SMURFIT KAPPA.
So, first of all, I mean, sustainability is key to what we do. We're going to be around for a very long time, in our kids and our grandkids as well. So sustainability is key to everything. And packaging plays a major part in that, and how can we try to reduce the impact of it moving forward? And this is core to what we do. I want to thank the team. They had great commitment and spirit over the last 2 days, also building up the stand and having the sessions. So, and I want especially to thank all the retailers for voting, because in the end, that's what counts. Thank you very much.
Good. The next category is the Customer Experience Award. It rewards the company delivering the best executed service. We have 2 runners-up on this one, on my cheat sheet. Yep. Please give a hand to P2P and DPDgroup. And the winner of the 2019 Deliver Customer Experience Award is NARVAR.
Yeah, I don't think we were expecting that one. So I appreciate everybody that voted, and it was a great eye opener for us that we haven't really had a background in logistics. We all come from more the front end e-commerce space, but noticing that real shift in your industry from operational efficiencies to doing the right thing by the customer, whether that's sustainability or whether that's providing a better customer experience in this case. That's what we're obsessed about. That's all we stand for, and we really appreciate the recognition. So thanks very much.
The next category is the Cool Vendor Award. And it awards the company with the most respected brand and inspiring services. But a larger group of runners-up was a very close call, to be honest, which is really good news. The runners-up were CMC Machinery, GCX, and Packsize. Well done. But the winner of the 2019 Deliver Cool Vendor Awards is SMURFIT KAPPA.
¿Cómo te llamas, baby? Desde que te vi supe que eras pa' mí. Dile a tus amigas que andamos ready. Esto lo seguimos en el after party. ¿Cómo te llamas, baby? Desde que te vi supe que eras pa' mí. Dile a tus amigas que
Want to say something?
Really unexpected. I had a couple of people saying, you as SMURFIT KAPPA have the ability to make SMURFIT KAPPA, or packaging I would say, not even SMURFIT KAPPA, but packaging sexy again. I think this is a recognition of it. Thanks for all the retailers that voted for us. This is really a very nice recognition of what we're trying to achieve and do here. Again, I want to thank the team because they made it happen. They talked to 240 of you. So I think that made a big impact on the voting as well. So thanks again, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Camera down.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. And the last category, something obviously close to my heart, because the Rising Star Awards. So companies that have been in business less than 5 years. And it rewards the most promising startup. What are they doing to disrupt the industry? Also here, we had 3 runners-up. Please give a hand to Parcel Lab, Paack and Zencargo. But the winner of the 2019 Deliver Rising Star Awards, please welcome to the stage Geek Plus.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone for the vote, and thank you, Deliver. And I think this is a very great platform to let us learn from each other, and then we grow together. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Stefan. Yeah? So we're going now to... Oh, yeah. Can we have all the winners on stage for a final photo shoot? Little music. You have to be a little bit more. This is the camera that you have to do.